Hey, hey, what do you say? Can you hear out there? There is a very important part of life which has been ignored by science, and because this is a scientific society we're locked inside of, we've gotten a distorted view of it, and that is there's a quality to reality that everybody can feel, everybody experiences, we all know it, and yet we get no reinforcement for its existence from the models that our culture venerates. And what I want to talk about is what I call novelty, or the appetite for complexity that permeates nature, that is in fact as fundamental a law of nature, if not more fundamental, than the laws of thermodynamics themselves. And this is the idea that nature loves complexity, and wherever it achieves complexity, in a membrane, in the center of a star, in an organism, in a breeding population of animals or plants, wherever it achieves complexity, it seeks to preserve it, and it seeks to use it as a platform for further complexity. This is what the universe is. It's a complexity-generating engine of some sort, on all levels, not only in biology, but in physics. If you look backward in time, the universe becomes more simple. 1 million years ago, there was no human civilization. 100 million years ago, there were very few mammals. 1 billion years ago, life had yet to emerge onto the land. 5 billion years ago, the planet itself was in the process of condensing. If you go back to the domain of the Big Bang, you find a world, a universe of pure electron plasmas, not even atomic systems, still less molecular systems. All that lies in the future. So in a sense, as the universe ages, as it cools, it complexifies. It becomes more novel. And biology on this planet, since we only know of its presence here and in a Martian meteorite discovered last summer, complexity on this planet finds its concrescence in animal life, still more in ourselves. The reason I mention this is because the scientific model of reality tells you that we are the chance-created witnesses of an essentially valueless universe. Chance and necessity. This is the chant of science. But looking at the record, it appears nature favors organization, favors complexity, and therefore favors ourselves. Because we represent animal complexity plus culture, plus phonetic alphabets, plus high technology. So the universe has put all of its eggs, or at least the processes of evolution on this planet, have placed all their bets in the human world. But this raises the stakes, makes the situation far less existential, and makes what we do with our human freedom a matter of great import. It turns out we count. We are more than witnesses. We are more than victims. We are, in fact, co-creators of this universal tendency to complexification. And in the psychedelic experience, we see the culmination of as a kind of anticipation of ultimate complexity, where information is holographically embedded and all things become possible. All things are now possible in the human world. Reductionist biologists have said of life itself, it's a kind of iridescence on matter. Other people say mind, conscious mind, is a kind of iridescence on biology. These are all sort of ways to dismiss what we experience as most fascinating and most beautiful. You know, Plato linked the idea of the good, the true, and the beautiful. But it's hard to tell what is good, and it's hard to tell what is true. But it's not hard to tell what is beautiful. So if you follow beauty, I think you can be pretty clear that you're not going to fall too far from the path of righteousness. That's sort of what the psychedelic path is. It's the demand that things be more beautiful, more strange, more astonishing than they've ever been before. As we approach this evening, the world not only becomes more complex, but it moves faster and faster. You know the cliches. More change in the last 25 years than in the previous 100. More change in the last 100 than in the last 1,000. In the last 1,000, 10,000. Who can look at this process and assume it will ever stop? But who has looked at this process and asked themselves what will happen if it doesn't stop? Because if there has been more change in the last 20 years than in the previous 100,